Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime Local News. There are 2 new COVID-19 related deaths in Saskatchewan. One person was over 80 from the North Zone and one was in the 60 to 79 age category from the Regina Zone. There are 238 new cases in the province, with 17 of those in the Northwest Zone, which includes Lloydminster and North Battleford. 3,970 cases are considered active, 301 of those in our zone. 132 people are in hospital, with 7 of those in the Northwest. 26 people are in intensive care. 84 more people are listed as recovered. Lloydminster's Youth Graffiti Cleanup is getting provincial attention, receiving a Family and Community Support Services Award of Excellence for the program. Eric Bay has more.
For the last 5 years, children from the Youth Centre have helped clean up Lloydminster, covering graffiti with murals. Mayor Gerald Albers says the cleanup is a true community event and appreciates everyone that takes part.
All the pieces that make our community work, from a private business to a corporate business that supplies the paint and the artwork and helps lead the youth through the youth center, and our team at the city through FCSS, it just speaks volumes. And then we had additionally other volunteers from the city staff that volunteered time to come out and help.
This summer's event was in doubt because of the pandemic, but the mayor is glad the graffiti cleanup went forward because of the impact it has on the kids.
It's great to see how excited the kids are about changing graffiti to something that's incredible. And they have a part of that. They play such a big piece of that, and that's our future. And again, helping them understand why graffiti is bad and sending positive messages, because that's what we want to do, is we want to send a positive message.
The award recognizes the work of FCSS in Alberta communities with a population between 20 and 85,000 people.
Anytime we get recognition at a provincial level, it just speaks volumes for our community and just highlights the great work that goes on, because often folks work very hard and make efforts, and they're not always acknowledged. And this is just a great way to acknowledge just one of the many efforts they put in.
This year's graffiti cleanup saw kids paint this mountain scene on 3 walls here in the city's downtown core, and past canvases include the old water treatment station. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
Speech pathology is a tool used in classrooms more commonly than we think. And in this week's Beyond the Classroom, we take a look at how important that tool is in a child's development. Games around the house, such as Mr. Potato Head, are one way children expand their vocabulary at home. And in the Lloydminster Public School Division, speech-language pathologists help the development at school.
We can do everything from teaching a child how to make a correct sound to showing them how to learn new words and add on to their vocabulary. We can also give them extra tools to interact with their peers and also provide tips on how to use an iPad for communication breakdowns.
Reading with your child is another way to help them develop before they come to school, and LPSD teachers have been utilizing more of these strategies in their own classrooms.
We're really fortunate to have a great group of teachers who are really on side and willing to try new things. It's a learning curve for everyone, but overall they, even in these trying times, we're seeing a lot of really nice strategies that are helping lots of kids, not even just 1 or 2, but they're doing things like very universally, especially when they're younger. That's going to help in the long term for their language development.
Developing your child's speech can help them with their literacy skills, which will be more demanding as they get older.
It really is a crucial part of everyday life. Communication happens everywhere, especially, as children are growing up, their language is expanding, and lots of children may struggle in this area, so I think it's an important role that we serve.
With the winter season upon us, building a snowman with your child and using other strategies can be a strong tool in their development.
All in all, children can learn so much through play. So like this holiday, spend some time playing with your child, reading to them, singing carols, decorating houses or gingerbread houses. All of that can go a really long way in your child's speech and language development.
And that's it for this week's Beyond the Classroom.
You have goals, and Lakeland College can help you achieve them. Visit lakelandcollege.ca or email hello@lakelandcollege.ca.
The Lloydminster Home Depot is taking part in a national campaign with the goal of ending youth homelessness. Jace Mackey has more.
Joining me today is Dwayne Brown. He is a store manager of the Home Depot here in Lloydminster. Thanks for taking some time to talk with me today.
Oh, not a problem.
So until December 20th, customers at Home Depot are able to donate to the Orange Door Project. Can you just first tell me a little bit about the Orange Door Project?
The Orange Door Project is actually part of the Home Depot Foundation, which we created to help eliminate, prevent, and youth homelessness across the country. And our goal is to eliminate it completely.
So how are people able to contribute to this campaign?
Well, right now we have two different ways. Of course, with COVID, we want to leave the options available to contribute at home without actually coming into the store itself. So you can go to the orangedoorproject.ca and make donations there, which would go to the local charity here in town, the Lloydminster Interval Home Society, or you can come into the store itself and make a donation here in person.
So the money is going to be going to the Interval Home Society. The whole goal of this project is to end homelessness, especially for people in certain risk groups. Just talk to me a little bit about how important that is for Home Depot.
It is absolutely one of our fundamental core values, and taking care of our community and giving back. That was one of the 8 things that the company was founded on. So we chose youth homelessness inside Canada as our focus of where we want to direct that energy, because it absolutely speaks to that value of giving back, but also it's a need that's inside our country that we weren't seeing a lot of other groups participating in, and gave us an opportunity to really affect each individual community where we work our businesses out of.
And when I was looking into the press release and stuff for this campaign, I saw that it was actually postponed back in the spring. Now that it's going to be taking place here in December, how exciting is that?
It's absolutely fantastic. We've traditionally run this twice a year in the past. So the spring, because unfortunately we had to postpone it with all the other issues going on at the time, the foundation did make donations to all 125 of our partners of $5,000 to that. So that way we didn't completely not fund somebody during this time frame. So we want to make sure everybody got something out of it. It's super exciting that we can do this now. I know it's getting into the holiday season, and as people are starting to think about things outside their own world again, it's a great opportunity for us to jump back on board and once again get into our community and take care of people inside our community that unfortunately, due to COVID, have had a lot of opportunities like this taken away from them. That this gives us an opportunity to definitely get back there and help out these organizations that are absolutely hurting for support right now.
And especially, you mentioned this Christmas season is a time when charities, need the funding more than ever. And especially this year, a lot of charities probably don't have as much donations as in previous years, just with the way the economy is and how the world is going. How important is it for Home Depot to be able to be a pillar in this community that's able to contribute back to the community of Lloydminster?
I think it's absolutely key. From the day I got to the city of Lloydminster, when I moved here, I was actually here a whopping 2 days and got to go to the Interval Home Society, go to the youth center and give a check to them. That was 2 years ago now, and it's absolutely part of what we do. When we talk about things happening inside our store and upcoming events, it's always something we discuss is what project are we involved in inside the city? How are we contributing, whether it's through the graffiti removal project, other projects inside the city. It is absolutely part of who we are. We are this community. We are part of this community, and we need to continue to be part of that.
Thank you so much for taking some time to talk with me about the Orange Door campaign, Dwayne.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime.
Now we're Connor Chan. We'll take a look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks a lot, Jasmine. Looking out right now, plus 2 degrees, a little bit of cloud coverage coming in, but still nice temperatures nonetheless. We are going to see a little bit clearer skies, hopefully in the next couple of days or so. With the wind chill, coming in west at 22 kilometers an hour, it does feel more so like around -4, -5, even though it's not technically shown here on the screen here. But as we look at some other temperatures in the area right now, 2 degrees in Vermilion, St. Paul, and Bonnyville. We see 3 in Cold Lake and Pierceland. 5 degrees out in Edmonton right now. 1 degree in Wainwright and Vegreville as well. -3 for Mac Macklin with -2 currently in North Battleford, 2 degrees in St. Walburg, and then we see 3 up in Pierceland, Green Lake, and in Meadow Lake as well. Now here's the satellite radar map to take a look at. Some cloud coverage is making its way over into our area as well as into the northern Alberta areas right now, but in terms of snow and rain coverage or anything like that, it's not going to be making its way into our area in the immediate future. As we take a look at North Battleford right now, overnight -7 degrees with some clear skies going into tomorrow, sunshine and clear skies with a temperature of +1. Looking at Cold Lake overnight, a little bit of clouds at -6 going into tomorrow at 3 degrees with mostly sun and just a little bit of cloud coverage coming in with also wind coming in from the west and southwest at 13 kilometers an hour there. And we'll get the same amount of wind there for tomorrow, but overnight tonight, fairly warmish for the most part, seeing at -3 is our expected temperature overnight, going into +3 tomorrow for the daytime high with all sunshine expected. And that's going to be the same thing for Friday as we have a temperature there of +2 degrees and low there of -5 to start the morning. It could feel more like -11 for tomorrow, and then -7 it could feel like on Friday. And a little bit more cloud coverage coming in on Saturday with identical temperatures expected for both the daytime and also in the morning. And then we could see some more cloud coverage into Sunday and Monday, and then it should clear up a little bit by the start of next week. We'll show that in the 7-day forecast, but that is a first look at your weather for now. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
Welcome back. A Learner Success Strategist at Lakeland College, Karen Harris, received a big award in recognition of her work for helping students. Our Shelby Clark spoke with her about what this award is and how honored she is by the experience.
Joining us on Primetime Local News today is Karen Harris, a Learner Success Strategist at Lakeland College that has won the 2020 Gold Award of Excellence. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
First off, I want to say congratulations on receiving this award from the World Federation of Colleges and Polytechnics. How does it feel to be recognized for this?
Oh, it was mind-blowing. I was humbled, I was honored, and in all honesty, really shocked. It was, yeah, it's a little bit beyond words that I have anyway right now.
And what exactly is the award celebrating in the student support services?
The student support services it's a big component actually of students' success at the college. And what we're doing is, I'm part of a really big team. We have counselors, we have wellness advisors, we have academic advisors or non-academic accessibility advisors, and there's a whole team of us. My specialty is in the field of academic success. So basically the easiest way to remember what I do, I'm a learning coach. And so I just specialize in how people learn and taking them from where they're at to the next step. So it's a fascinating field. It's a wonderful field.
And could you give a little history on your experience and what you've all done at Lakeland College to reach this accomplishment?
So my background is I'm a high school math teacher, and I taught in Kitscoty for eons, 30-ish years. And I was asked to come into the college on a part-time basis a little bit and did a little bit of teaching there. And it just kind of evolved. And so what do I do that's different? I'm not sure what I do is different. I didn't really know that this was happening. The nomination was actually done. I was the last person to know about this. And it's all about finding out where a student's at and taking them to the next step. It's being aware of their sensory styles and their personality types and their goals and their settings. And people are complicated. Students are complicated. And when we're working with them, it's all about figuring out who they are, where they are. And then what I think I do is I shine the light back on them. I don't know these students. They're coming in, they're a blank slate to me, they're a puzzle. And through my questioning, I try to figure out who they are and how they work. And then I want to shine that back to them. Because most people, when they are coming to college, they put learning into a box and they go back to where high school was and what it was like for them. And I'm here to say it has nothing to do with high school. It's about, high school did what high school was supposed to. It got you here. And now that you're gone from the general world of high school and gone into the specific world of whatever trade or whatever avenue that you're going into, how do you do that? How do you go from the general to the specific? How do you realize your goals? What are your goals? Most people don't have big enough goals. So, we kind of start there. And once I can sort of figure out their sensory type, their personality style, how they work, and put that together and then shine it back to them, we'll come up with a strategy that works individually for them. Learning is universal, but most people forget that learning is also very instinctual, and we forget that part. And so your instincts work differently depending on who you are. And once you understand that and understand basically who you are, then you can make the next step. And once you make this next step, then away they go. It's a fascinating field, but it's very individual.
And now, did the global pandemic this year cause any hurdles for you to have to jump over through being a learner success strategist at Lakeland College?
There was some, for sure. I spent a lot of my time, and thankfully we had a really nice fall, and I spent most of my time outside so we could physically distance. And so the students and I were meeting in all kinds of crooks and crannies in the college where we were outside where I could see them, because a lot of my advantage is being able to watch a person, and I used a lot of observational skills, and so I need to see the whole person. Now, having said that, can we do it online? Yeah, that kind of, but it ties one hand behind my back. And so did the COVID have an impact? For sure. One of the biggest things we found, of course, was all the students saying, online learning. Now, we're not 100% online. It depends on the program, and it depends on labs and all that kind of stuff. But keeping all the rules of COVID and being very conscious of it, one of the big hurdles was being online. And students were coming back and saying, online, I can't do online. And I said, yeah, I'm going to challenge you on that, because I think you can. You Google things to find information, you YouTube things to find information, but that's not really the problem. How the information's coming, whether it's an instructor or a book, online, however it's coming to the student, that's kind of the same. It's the setup prior to that that's causing some grief. So before, students would do it kind of seamlessly. You get up, you go to school, you walk down the street or onto the bus or whatever, you do all those things, and not knowing that you're getting your body going and you're moving and you're getting your mind going and you're getting yourself focused. And all of a sudden that switched into where the student has to take responsibility for that. And they have to get themselves out of bed. This idea of rolling over and clicking a button and watching a lecture, it doesn't work so well. You have to get physically and mentally engaged. And that's what COVID's done, is put more of that pressure onto the student to get more physically and mentally engaged in it and not be able to so easily slough it off. So there's been some definite challenges for it.
And is there anything else you'd like to add?
I just like to add that I work in a wonderful place, and I can't do this kind of work without having the support of the leadership team, and that's Dr. Alice Wainwright-Stewart and her leadership team, and it trickles down to all of us. And her ability to keep focus forward is really being a testament to allowing the people around us and her and everybody that's included in this team to lead learning. And we do it by having the leadership and the freedom to move forward. So a lot of kudos going back to the leadership team.
Well, once again, congratulations on receiving this award, and thanks again for joining us today, Karen.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Now here are your stock market prices for today.
Today's oil prices are brought to you by First General Services.
After their SJHL season was put on hold, Flin Flon Bombers assistant captains Easton and Chase Haygarth chat with Evan Kenny.
I'm pleased to be joined today by two Lloydminster locals who are playing in, what would be considered the closest thing to Canada's next border city with the Flin Flon Bombers, Chase and Easton Haygarth. Guys, thank you for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having us. We're excited.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Now, guys, last year was your first year in Flin Flon after being moved over there from the Whitecourt Wolverines. I guess just what was that first year like for you guys, and how much easier was it just being able to move, as brothers over?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely pretty cool that we were both able to get traded together to the same team. It made it a lot easier. And then, Just the group of guys that we have up in Flin Flon, they're really good guys. So, it was the change was pretty easy thanks to them. And yeah, it's a fun place to play for sure. Yeah, obviously we had a lot of success on the ice last year. Then COVID hit, and I mean, it was a tough way to end for sure, but we got a lot of returning guys back this year, so hopefully we can make a run this year.
Yeah, that sort of leads me into my next question here. You guys were the top of your division, second in the entire league, only behind North Battleford. Do you think it made that, a little more tough having your season canceled at the end of last year?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially with how we were clicking in the playoffs last year, like we kind of rolled over Humboldt, and I think a lot of people thought it was going to be a closer series, and it actually was. So every guy was buying in. We were doing the right things. So it's super tough pill to swallow, but I mean, at the end of the day, there's nothing you can really do about it. Yeah, for sure. We had a special group of guys. So, after winning the fourth game and going home, we definitely didn't expect to be told that our season was ending, the next day, basically the same day that we were told that we thought we were moving on. So it was tough, but at the same time, like Easton said, there's not really much you could do about it.
Now, guys, you were the top offensive team in the SJHL last year. Now, that's got to be pretty fun to be a part of a team like that, those, high-flying offenses, no?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's pretty cool going into a game knowing that, it doesn't matter who we're playing. We have the potential to score 5, 6, 7 goals. So it was a lot of fun. And just like even in practice and stuff, just seeing – we had so many special players, just watching everyone on a day-to-day basis, I think, really helped us for sure, getting to practice against guys like that. And it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I think you don't really realize in the moment how good we were until, the season was done and you look back at it a couple months later and just how good we were and how primed and ready we were to take a run in the playoffs. But, it was a special group, that's for sure.
Now, you guys both had successful seasons as well. Chase, you had 54 points, and Easton, you had 53. Now, was there a little bit of, rivalry between you two to see who could finish higher up on that, stat sheet?
Yeah, we don't really ever, talk about it or anything, but I think there's definitely a little bit of competition going on. But at the same time, we both just want to see each other have success. But, he got me our second year of junior, and he beat me by quite a bit. So I guess I'll take the bragging rights from last year. Yeah, I don't know. I was beating him all year, and then 2 weeks left of the season, he went on a bit of a tear and beat me by 1 point. It was but it's good to see us both having success, right? But maybe there's a little bit of hidden rivalry going on.
And success for the both of you and pushing each other only helps the team in the long run, right? So nothing bad there.
Yeah, exactly. There, we might argue and bicker a little bit now and again, but at the same time, we just want to win. So yeah, it's gonna happen. We're brothers, so I think people are used to it by now.
No, guys, a little bit of time off here, obviously, with the SJHL pause. Just really, how are you guys going to be spending the time? Workouts. What's on the table for you guys?
Well, we actually just got memberships at the multiplex, and our coaches have been sending us some home workouts to do and stuff. But as far as getting on the ice, all we can really do is go to the outdoor rink. So, we've been going with our buddies pretty much every day here. So, you do what you can to try and stay in shape. Yeah. And, I think right now, it's been a long kind of start to the season, even though we haven't we've only played 2 games, but we've been practicing. So I think, right now we're trying to get as much exercise in, but just going out on the outdoor rink and having fun right now, I think that's the biggest thing. It's been a long year. So just trying to have fun with it, but try to stay in shape as much as we can at the same time.
Right on, guys. Thank you very much for taking this time and joining me. This was Chase and Easton Haygarth.
Now we're Connor Chan. We'll take a look at your weather forecast.
All right, Thanks a lot, Jasmine. Looking right now, still sitting in the positives right now. We're still sitting at that 2-degree mark right now. As we look out in Edson, we see 6 degrees, a little bit warmer in some of those areas out west there. Edmonton at 5 right now. Athabasca also at 5. We see 3s in Whitecourt and Red Deer, 0 degrees in Jasper, 4 for Rocky Mountain House, as well as in Meadow Lake right now. A little bit colder in Saskatchewan in some areas like Saskatoon and Melfort, sitting at -5, with -2 in North Battleford and then -4 in Prince Albert. Now taking a look up north, kind of a little in between there as we see some areas in northern Saskatchewan. South End and Flin Flon sitting at -1 right now, with La Ronge sitting at 1 degree, with La Loche and Buffalo Narrows both sitting at 3 degrees right now. -10 for Stony Rapids and -6 in Uranium City. As we look into northern Alberta right now, 7 degrees in Slave Lake, one of the warmer spots in northern Alberta right now. 6 degrees, in Fort McMurray, 5 in Fort Chipewyan, -1 for high level. Then we see 2 degrees in both Peace River and in Grand Prairie. Now as we take a look at southern Alberta, very warm in areas like Lethbridge and Calgary, sitting at 9 degrees. A little bit cooler in Medicine Hat, sitting at 2 with -1 down in Coronation there. And then we see 0 right now in Banff. As we take a look into southern Saskatchewan right now, -1 for Swift Current and Moose Jaw along with Yorkton there. And we see -2 in Regina, -6 for Kindersley right now. And then we see 2 degrees currently right now out in Estevan. Now as we take a look across the rest of the country here, lots of sun, just a little bit of mix of everything. We see some sun and cloud mixes there in Winnipeg at 2 degrees, cloud coverage in Quebec City. A little bit clear skies in the evening in Toronto right now at 2 degrees. We see showers in St. John's at 12 and then 8 degrees in Halifax. Edmonton, of course, still seeing some sunshine with that 5-degree temperature there. 7 in Vancouver right now as we look out west there to BC. -7 up in the Northwest Territories there in Yellowknife, with a little bit clear, a little cloud coverage into the evening. And then we see 4 degrees in Whitehorse with some rain right now. Now, as we take a look at tomorrow, we are going to kind of be in the same boat as what we are right now. So 3 degrees is our expected daytime high for tomorrow. We see 2 degrees tomorrow in Marwayne, and then we'll see 3 consistently up north in those immediate northern areas in St. Paul, Bonnyville, Cold Lake, and in Pierceland as well. 6 degrees in Vegreville for tomorrow, as well as 4 in Edmonton with 5 in Lac La Biche. We'll also see 5 degrees in Wainwright tomorrow, 4 in Provost, 6 for Macklin, and then 1 degree in North Battleford. Then we'll see 3 in Green Lake and in Meadow Lake, and 4 in Isle of Cross. Now here's what we could see over the next 7 days. 2 degrees on Friday, a little bit more cloud coverage on Saturday there with the high of 1 degree. But we're still going to be in the positives nonetheless, but the wind chill could make it a little bit colder than what it is though. But still nice weather regardless of the wind chill there. 2 degrees on Sunday with clear skies expected. 1 degree on Monday with a little bit of cloud coverage. A little bit more cloud coverage on Tuesday, as we are expected to get some snow on Wednesday with some scattered flurries there. Where it is expected at a 76% chance right now. It could be upwards of up to a centimeter of snow. But that is a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
Stephanie Dobson is joining us here again on Primetime Local News. Stephanie is a local lawyer and mediator here in Lloydminster, and we've been doing a series on separation and divorce. And unfortunately, Stephanie, this is something that is just, it's a tough subject, but it's something that has to be discussed, and something that a lot of people really don't have information on or know where to get that information. So we want to take this time to thank you for doing this with us, and we really have been enjoying this and had a lot of good feedback. So Stephanie, thanks so much for joining us once again this week.
Thanks. I just want to start by saying, my concept has always been to create a foundation of knowledge and information, and that's what I've always focused on in my practice. So this really fits well within me wanting to help inform the public on just various topics that, are short snippets, but just information to help people to know exactly where to go, where to start, and, and to be more effective in their transition through separation and divorce. So thank you so much for having me, Stacey.
And Stephanie, we're going to start today by talking about communication, because when there is a divorce or a separation happening, it's very important to communicate, that both sides are talking to each other. And let's just talk about that, the importance of both sides being involved and communicating in the way that they should with each other. How really important is that as they go through the process?
Communication is the foundation of any relationship. Whether people are separated or whether they're in an intact family, living under one roof or 2 roofs, it's so important to communicate. And communication becomes even more important, I would say, it's when you're separating, when you're moving into two homes, because it really is that foundation of being able to effectively co-parent. And so when we talk about parents having a united front with the children and being on the same page, children will know very quickly when their parents aren't communicating, and they can start to take advantage of that. And it's so important that the kids know and that the parents are able to communicate together to really be able to help build the effective and resilient children as they go through their childhood in two homes.
So what are some tips that you could give parents on ways that they can effectively communicate while going through a separation or a divorce?
Yeah, so I would say that the overarching theme is to create mutual expectations about communication. What co-parents typically find is that they have a different style of communication. One communicates more or more detail or more frequently or more urgently than the other, and so they're often on very different pages. So I think the very foundation would be to set those mutual expectations. So I sort of have three different rules: the who, the what, and the when. So the who is going to communicate with who, right? So who's in that thread? Typically it's just the parents, but are there opportunities if there's step parents involved or extended family? Are there opportunities where other people might want to be in the know about a certain topic? So the who. Then the second thing is the what. So what type of information are you agreeing to exchange? Are we just agreeing to exchange if there's an illness or a dental emergency or any type of emergency, excuse me, or an incident at school, for example, the major stuff? Or are we going to agree to, communicate the more minor things, talking about something new at school or something like that? And then it's the when, so it's the frequency. So are you going to communicate every single day about things? Are you going to communicate only at exchanges or only when something major happens? Or what does that look like? So the who, the what, and the when. And then just to be realistic, right, in setting those mutual expectations.
And there are so many different ways to communicate nowadays, and of course COVID also has to be taken into consideration as to how you do things. Technology is changing. Some people are good with it, some people aren't. So what would you recommend for people to communicate back and forth? What are the best, I guess, tools maybe that can be used to do that?
I have to say there is no one right way to communicate. What is most important is to find the right way for your particular family. So for example, you might say, let's text on these particular types of topics, and on those other types of topics, let's email each other, and other topics we agree that we're going to phone. So for example, some people say, when depending maybe on the time sensitivity, if something is more urgent, pick up the phone and make sure you get that person on the other end and you're able to communicate that effectively. Whereas something, for example, that might be a topic that has to do with something a month or two in advance, for example, Christmas or planning, something like that, where someone might receive the information and they might want to process it and not respond right away, but just to really consider their response. You might want to do a different method of communication. So really just find the one right way for you.
Well, Stephanie, thanks again for these tips and for speaking with us today. And I know that there are so many questions. I mean, we could talk about so many different topics, and we will as we go through this series. But we are encouraging viewers to send in questions for either topics they'd like to see in future interviews, or if they just want to ask you questions regarding separation and divorce. So what is the best way that they can reach you if they want to reach out and have some questions about what they may be going through or are about to go through?
Sure. So on our website, we have a special contact form that has to do with this TV series that we're doing, and you can submit your questions there, or your topics, or your ideas for future dates. But also, you can send us an email, info@henkadivorce, HENKA divorce.ca, and reach us that way.
Okay, well, thank you so much once again, Stephanie. We really appreciate this. And again, we encourage people to reach out, and any questions you may have, let Stephanie know, and she can handle. If you want them to be private, obviously they can be kept that way. Or if there's a general subject that you want her to speak about, we can do that as well. So once again, Stephanie, thank you for joining us, and we will chat again next week.
Thank you so much.
Well, joining us today here on Primetime Local News is artist Shawnee Kish. Now, Shawnee, you're part of that Connected Music series that we've highlighted a bit this week here. So I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked Sasha. What does it mean to you to be a part of this Connected Music series?
Super grateful. I mean, to be a part of sharing music, and I mean, it's such a weird time right now, and more opportunities are coming up like this, which I'm really grateful for, because I miss performing. I miss, and I have done more than a handful of live performances on stream. So it's so different performing to a camera. I was like all smiles during the performance, you'll see, because it was the first time I was back, sort of what felt like a live performance. And even though it was just the crew there and my guitar player, but it was the closest thing to performing live, and it felt really good. And I was super grateful to be a part of it.
I know with concert series, it's been different. You can't perform in person. You have to do it through just a camera or just very little people around you. So what was it like for you personally to do it, not in front of an audience for your performance?
When I first started switching over to performing in front of like a camera, like solely, either whether it be like a digital sort of like any kind of technology, so whether it be my phone or a cameraman, it was weird at first. It took me a little bit to find a place that I was comfortable in, and honestly, performing is all about what's inside, and I just had to remember that, like when I perform live in front of people, it's less about who's in front of me and more about a self-expression. So just going back to that root, and you hear everybody say, like, during this time of COVID, like they're getting to know themselves in a deeper way, and hopefully, challenging themselves in a deeper way. And that was very much what I had to do, performing in front of technology.
Now, Shawnee, give us a little sense of who you are as an artist for those that aren't familiar with you.
I use music as medicine. Music has very much been there for me when I was younger and now. But when I was younger, I really struggled with things like depression. And I found it a difficult time in finding my place in the world. Coming out as a two-spirit person, I struggled with. I struggled with my home life. I struggled with sort of relating to peers. And so I really had a hard time finding what my place was in the world. And it was music that pulled me, gave me purpose. It gave me meaning. It gave me drive. It gave me intention. And I'm so grateful for that. And I use music. It's such a powerful tool to inspire and provide strength to other people. I know that feeling. And so I use music very much in that way to hopefully give that back in the same way that music has done for me. I know that I almost feel a responsibility with my music to do that.
In a series like this, where it highlights South Asian, Black, and Indigenous artists, and especially in a time where society has a lot of racism and discrimination, do you think it's important to have this kind of concert series and for yourself to showcase who you are as an Indigenous performer?
It's so powerful to be able to have a safe place to showcase who you are and what you represent and where you come from. I remember there was a time that I didn't feel safe to be Indigenous. I remember there was a time where I didn't feel safe to be two-spirit. And that was even in the music industry when people had said to me, don't be out and cover up who you are in different words, because it wasn't safe. It wasn't something that was supported by some individuals. And so to have this space and to be able to share who I am is extremely powerful, because I hope that young people especially can look at this and say, I'm okay to be who I am, and I'm free to be who I am. And, we're a community, and to showcase through art who we are is such a beautiful and powerful thing. So I'm really grateful I performed at the Coalition stage, and it was great energy, and I hope that one day I get to go back and perform there. And to TD, who supported myself and other musicians, diverse musicians, to be able to share their music at this time is really important. And to CMI, who I love very much.
And lastly, Shawnee, is there anything that you want to share with us before we wrap up?
I actually have some crazy, amazing, like I honestly have goosebumps right now because I just found out last week that this project is going to be coming up. I can't say what it is right now, which kind of sucks, but I am so excited. What I can say is it's a well-known music group who I'm going to be collaborating with to provide a space for Indigenous youth to be able to create on a big platform. So I'm really excited about that. I'm also releasing new music in the new year. I'm working really hard. I'm going flying to Calgary at the end of the week to work at Bell Studio, a part of the Searchlight 2020 music contest as part of the win. I'm going to go to Studio Bell and record for a week, so come up with new stuff. And I'm just, honestly, I'm looking forward to the new year. I hope that everybody can stay safe, whatever happens next year and however the music industry looks. I'm grateful for the opportunities that have come my way and to be able to share art.
Well, Shawnee, I really appreciate your time and thank you so much for joining us today.